Even the best AI-powered signal detection doesn't create pipeline on its own. Decisions do. And orchestration is the layer where AI stops just observing behavior and starts shaping how your GTM pipeline responds. Hello and welcome to the Healthtech Marketing Show. I'm your host, Adam Turinas. I'm the CEO of Health Launchpad. I want to give a big thank you to you for listening, and also a big thank you to our sponsors, the folks at Healthcare Now Radio. That's a 24/7 healthcare-only radio network that's online. And they also have a podcast syndication service, which we're a part of and has been phenomenal. It's really helped boost our reach, and you may be listening to it thanks to Healthcare Now Radio. So we're grateful to them. This is the third episode in our series on how to use AI to grow your pipeline. In the last episode, we talked about signal intelligence, how AI helps you see what matters sooner. For example, how tools like Sixth Sense, Demandbase, Factors, and others help you detect early buying behavior by analyzing behavior patterns across web activity, looking at signals like intent data and engagement signals that no human could track consistently. But today, we're going to talk about what happens after those signals appear. Because even the best AI-powered signal detection doesn't create pipeline on its own. Decisions do. And orchestration is the layer where AI stops just observing behavior and starts shaping how your GTM pipeline responds. Orchestration is not lead scoring with better math. It's not just automating workflows, and it's definitely not respond to everything faster. Orchestration is the decision layer of an AI-powered growth system. This is where AI helps you interpret multiple signals together, compares current behavior to historical outcomes, decides what matters now, and then recommends or triggers the right motion. Without AI, teams do this with dashboards and rules, but with AI, the systems are continuously evaluating probabilities, patterns, and risk. So in many ways, it's taking what you probably already do and expanding your capability and doing it at the speed of AI. And to make this notion of orchestration real, I'm going to anchor everything I talk about to one realistic health tech scenario. So here we go. Imagine, if you will, you're selling into a mid-sized market healthcare systems. Maybe it's 5 to 8 hospitals, and you know the drill. They're going to be very long sales cycles and lots of people involved. You may have a strong incumbent who is already in place, and you may also be dealing with conflicting messaging from their EHR vendor. So here's what starts happening. Let's say your intent platform, that might be Sixth Sense or Demandbase or Bombora, shows increased topic level research around integration, interoperability, and ROI. And at the same time, tools like Factors is aggregating all of that data. So Factors is a tool that we use at Health Launchpad, and we use it to pull in signals like website engagement, content consumption, email interaction, paid media engagement like LinkedIn and programmatic advertising. And what it's showing is that an account is particularly engaged. And it's also showing that multiple people from the same account are engaging across channels over time. And then you can layer in something like Clay, which pulls in hiring signals, technographic changes, firmographic updates, and the AI inside Clay is signaling something quite subtle. What it's signaling to you is this account is changing behavior in a way that historically correlates with an active evaluation. So no single signal means much, but AI is doing sequence analysis, comparing this account's behavior to patterns from past deals. And that's the moment where orchestration begins. I'm going to talk about several layers of orchestration. And the first one is prioritization. And so prioritization is where AI earns its seat at the table because humans can't track dozens of weak signals across months, can't compare them to historical wins and losses, and can't continuously reprioritize accounts as behavior changes. It's just not possible to do that without the use of AI. So what AI and platforms like Sixth Sense and Demandbase, what they do is they use machine learning models trained on closed won and closed loss data to infer buying stage, not based on forms, but based on patterns of behavior. Factors, the tool that we use, plays a different role. It doesn't just score the leads, but it aggregates the signals across tools and visualizes momentum over time. And its AI highlights things like acceleration, or if a deal's stalling, or regression, potentially at the account level. And tools like Clay add another layer, and they do that by enriching and evaluating context. So it can help you identify things like hiring patterns. Are they hiring roles related to the problem that you solve? Did they add or remove a competing technology? Is this account changing in ways that usually precede buying? So back to our buying scenario. At this point, you're probably not getting a demo request. You're probably not getting a form fill, but AI flags the account as quietly accelerating, not because of volume, but because the pattern matches accounts that later become pipeline. That's prioritization driven by AI, not by intuition. The second layer of orchestration is routing. So once AI determines something matters, the next question is who should act and how? Routing is not just workflow logic. This is where AI starts making conditional decisions. So, for example, in Salesforce Einstein, AI analyzes deal stage versus actual behavior, activity gaps, stakeholder engagement, and flags when a deal is risky or needs intervention. HubSpot also has some AI tools that can help you here. So it's predictive AI dynamically adjusts lead and account prioritization, can adjust ownership, and can adjust the next best action based on what historically converted. In Demandbase, the AI evaluates account level buying behavior and recommends sales-led engagement versus marketing-led engagement, or just stop and continue observing. For teams, like the most of us who don't have access to many of these high-priced tools, combinations like just use Clay, which is pay as you go, and ChatGPT, which is pretty inexpensive, right? It's $20 a month. They can be used in combination to do things like evaluate confidence thresholds or recommend routing paths or trigger different GTM motions. Unfortunately, that doesn't happen in an automated way. You've got to actually do the work. But in combination, those two tools are really powerful. So back to our scenario. So what might happen here is that the AI would determine that this is enterprise style buying behavior that matters. And instead of dumping the account into an SDR queue, sales is alerted with AI generated context. So marketing remains involved. And maybe it's time for an executive to reach out to one of the senior people. And then the SDR activity is delayed or suppressed or diverted to some of the lower level members of the team on the client side. So in this scenario, AI isn't just moving leads faster, it's choosing which play to run. The third layer is response. So this is where AI becomes indispensable. So response design means coordinating multiple personas, multiple channels, multiple messages, and doing that without overwhelming the buyer. And humans are terrible at doing this at scale. It's just really not possible. And that's why we all struggle so much with personalization. So what AI can do is help by inferring roles based on engagement behavior, matching content to buying stage and what risks they seem to be interested in, recommending what to send and also what not to send. So in HubSpot and Salesforce, AI can recommend next best content and actions inside seller workflows. With factors, you can see which topics are gaining traction across personas and align messaging accordingly. And with Clay, AI can assemble highly contextual outreach inputs, things like role, pain points, recent triggers, before a human ever writes a message. So again, back to our scenario. The CFO receives ROI modeling and risk mitigation content. The IT team receives integration validation. Clinical leaders receive workflow impact. Procurement, you might actually hold off on reaching out to procurement until the signals justify it, until it's a little bit further along. So this level of orchestration is frankly impossible to do manually without creating chaos, and you really can't track it. AI makes this coherent and trackable. So the reason why orchestration is hard is that most teams don't fail at orchestration because of the tools. They fail because orchestration focuses alignment between marketing and sales, exposes unclear decision ownership, and requires trust in AI-informed recommendations. And healthcare adds a great deal of friction to that because of the length of the sales cycle, because of the regulatory risk, because brand trust is even more important, and because of incumbent bias, particularly for vendors like Epic. But orchestration isn't about control. It's about making AI-informed decisions repeatable. So if you're a CMO or a VP of marketing, this is a shift. You're not buying tools, you're designing an AI-assisted decision system. So your role is to define which decisions AI should inform, where humans must intervene, how marketing and sales co-own orchestration, and then campaigns become systems, outputs become decisions, and attribution is all about momentum. And that's a change in leadership. That's a change in how you manage your team and what the expectations are. So let's wrap things up. Signal intelligence help you see what's happening. Orchestration uses AI to decide what to do about it. But decisions don't matter if nothing happens next. In the next episode, we're going to talk about execution and acceleration. So how AI agents improve speed to value and what happens when these systems actually act on your behalf. Seeing the signal matters. Choosing the right response matters more. Execution is where pipeline is created or lost. So thank you to you for listening. And I hope you'll join me on the next episode. The next episode won't actually be about AI. The episode after that is going to be the next episode in this AI pipeline growth series. If you're finding this useful and you haven't already subscribed, you can follow this in your podcast app just by clicking the follow button. And if you liked it, do me a favor, give it a like, give it a thumbs up. And if you really liked it, share it with one of your colleagues. I'd really appreciate it. So with that, I want to thank you for listening and hope to see you on the next episode.